Mic check. Alright, give me 1 second. Welcome to the channel. This is Reliable Rudy. Getting a couple things set up. We'll go through the intro. We'll go through the title names. Still a little bit of recovery for me from the vacation. Voice is a little bit almost back. We'll say it like that. The voice is almost back, but still not quite there. Had a great vacation. Back-to-back vacations. After not taking a vacation for like 4 years. That'll play a toll on anybody. So before we go into anything, you guys know I'm not a licensed financial advisor. Everything in this video contains only my opinion, and it's for entertainment purposes only. I'm just a guy sharing his opinion, trying to make a little bit of money while he's doing what he loves. Plain and simple. Okay, so let's go into the title name. TNGX, huge shout out to H&H Trader. If you have not seen his channel and you're interested in trading these low floats, I highly recommend it. I was in the middle of a trade with GRRR. First fill at 209. We had a trim at 17. We reloaded, trimmed one more at 15s, came all the ways back in. We got a 203 fill and a 198 fill, and I currently have a stop loss in at 195. I'm gonna go put that in there, and I'm really just debating on just getting out of this. My 203 and my 198 fill keeps me actually at a green trade here. TNGX is actually halted right now. As soon as I put that stop loss in on GR, as soon as I put the stop loss in, Hal was going crazy about this TNGX, and it was sitting right up here, right above this wick right here, and it had a wick up to like 760. Came back in to 25s. My fill came in at 729s. So let me go over the order book for this. So my fill came in 729. We got our first fill at 784 and then 781. We went on the bid at 735. Let's go to a 5-minute here. The 5-minute, the low of this candle gets down to 50s. Now on the book, the bid only had 741s and I was on 35s. Why I picked 35s is I was trying to play in front of the top wick right here, and here's that 741 right here at the bottom of this candle. So we got 3 pennies off from getting that reload, and now a straight shoot up through the high. Now we're halted. We still have 60% of the position. Could have been 100% of the position before this next breakout, but we got 3 pennies off. So that's the situation with TNGX. They don't all work out like that, and this is a prime example of a trade that, it's probably a little bit in the red for me right now, and I might even move that stop up to 198 just to save myself a few pennies if this wants to go stop me out. But GRR, let's go take a look at the book for this and see. There's still 70 lots on the bid here at 01s, so I'm not saying that this is just going to shoot down to the downside. It has a chance. But the catalyst that I like about this is it's got earnings after hours, and if this were to continue this momentum of this green volume the day before, gaps up, I do not want it to come down and fill this 190 gap, because obviously my stop's at 195. I could give it those 5 extra pennies, but then every penny that it goes down, and TNGX, this is what you guys are probably tuning in for. So we have no fills over 9 on the name. Our best fill on the name is actually 824s. So let's go and maybe just take a small piece off now that the halt is over. It's possible that it could lose a little bit of momentum, so we're going to go 5% trims each time. Even though this was, now we'll just be patient with it. We're going to be a little patient with it. Even if this pulls back in all the way down to here, I think this is where we're going to try some reloads. If we shoot all the ways through this, the 40% that I've taken off already, I'm hoping can keep this a green trade. So let's just be patient. Let's let it work out the kinks and see if we can get some further movement to the upside. I am going to keep an eye on GRR down here. It's at 201 still. and that's what we got going for today. Uh, there was a couple names. I really liked the PR with Penn. Maybe I'm a little biased towards the Disney side of the things, and I actually haven't even looked at the earnings report. Did not get up early enough to try and look at this, but I really wanted to find an entry on Penn. And looking at the daily chart, uh, if I was gonna pull the trigger, it would have been off of these highs right here. So we do have a wick that comes into the body of these candles. And the top of these candles over here is actually the low. So playing inside of those 27s could have been the play. But if I'm lucky enough, I can actually get this down here closer towards those middle 25s. So if I can get that, Penn is going to be on watch for me the rest of the week for sure. So now that we got that over with, we like the entries that we have here with TNGX and GRR. So this is what we're going to focus on for today. Now, a little bit of wick of buying coming in those green candles. That is what I want to see. I don't want to see if the candle turns green. I want this volume to be shooting up. If this is pullback candle number one right here, I'm okay with the volume staying short. This previous candle put up almost 1.5 million in volume, and I just want to see when this. We have 7 minutes and 30 seconds left. I just want to see a wick come in at the end of this candle that shows me that, hey, the buyers are still here to buy this thing up. That's all I'm looking for. So 825, we're still $1 in the money on 60% of the position. I probably should have had some outs in the middle of this. I was getting the live stream set up, so don't say I've never done anything for the stream because I had no prints over 9. So I'm not blaming you guys. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Don't say I never do nothing for the stream because I could have executed that a little bit better, had some fills around those upper 8s into those 9s. But I gotta say, I am so happy to be back at my office spot right here because trading off of that crappy laptop on vacation is not fun. I There was a couple of times I almost just chucked my laptop across the room because maybe I missed a fill, maybe for whatever reason, I am so happy to be back at my spot, back home. It was a great vacation. Loved it. Had a great time. But now it's time to get back to work, and we're going to be on the grind every single day, working the market, trying to get better every single day. That's the name of the game. So 6 minutes left in this candle. Let's go see GR sitting at these 203s. It continues to show these wicks into these twos. If this wants to turn into a stair step, which it's kind of giving that look right here, and the stair step would be the confirmation of a give of 198. I'm still gonna give it to that 195 as of right now. So I would really just love to see these twos hold up. But this is the wick I'm talking about. We're down to 5 minutes left. If this candle closed like this, with this wick right here, it would check the box for me to just continue holding. Uh, Coming on in a little bit, let's look at a 5 minute, see if we can find anything. So we do have this top wick right here that is trying to hold. But if I was looking for a trim, I would probably have to say the body top. So as soon as it gets so here we go. Now I'd be a fool not to take a piece off. So let's go ahead. That should have gave us 79s. Let's take a 5%er. Now no matter what happens, uh, I would love for it to keep going up. But no matter what happens, we feel pretty good about holding this position. We are now sitting with, and we got 888 fills right there. So that's my best print on the day. Uh, and coming on in, that's fine. If this were to come on in closer to the entry, I am all for reloading this position. I really like this setup, and I'll go to a daily to explain that a little bit more. Is because you got to go to the left over here, and this is breakout central right here. You see this flat top? If it's able to get, and I should just put a horizontal line right here because it kind of meets up over at these lows. So here's your IPO price, September of 2020. You get down to a low of 8, kind of breaks down, but then we have a couple reject wicks up here at these 24s right in here. So a lot of resistance. If we can have the buyers push us over top of this, I wouldn't be surprised to see this run to the IPO lows. Here's your IPO low. A little bit of a breakdown, a little bit of a breakdown, but when you truly break it down, you reject it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So up into 10 is where I could really see this trying to push up to. Now, if it gets over 10, I mean, the next thing we got is these highs meeting in with these lows over. So, I mean, after 10, it could easily go up to 1170. But let's go back to a 15 minute, and this is why we kind of wanted to get that fill up there. Back to that 5 minute. Top of this wick, we're still seeing a little wick of buying. Could give up these 8s. But let's just mark this wick top right here. So 784s, I would expect to be pretty solid support. And even if we went on the body candles right there, 784 to 764 could easily be a nice hold spot, which is kind of this previous high. 1, 2, 3. 3 minutes left on this 5 minute. Each candle showing me a wick of buying. Everything looks good there. I don't hold too much regard for the 5 minute, but sometimes you got to see what's happened in the middle of this green move. So, oh man, I need to drink coffee, and I'll be right back. Other than that, GR still trying to hold these twos. It really has this stair step look. If I really wanted to, I would just get out right now. Let's actually go see what the tape looks like here on GR. Yeah, not too much size on these 203s, but taking out a couple orders here at those 4s, and just took out another 3 lots at 4s. Let's see if we can, show some continuation. If this were to get over 208s, we actually think that this could turn into something bigger than what we're giving it credit for. And going into a few more technicals, the reason why I even like this in the first place is because a gap through over the trend line, over this downtrend, where this was discredited but gaps back up over that. I would say I was expecting GR to be down today, so this is why I was maybe a little bit early jumping into this, is because I was like, oh yeah, you have a nice descending channel. Let's come on down to 180s that meets up with the gap right here. And this is actually what I was looking to do with this name today. So when it gapped up right over top of this downtrend, that is the main reason why we even wanted to play it. So giving it to these 195s. I almost just cut it as soon as it gave up 2, so I'm kind of glad that I didn't right now, but I am going to go take a little bit of risk off of this name up at these 206s. So let's go back down and take a piece off of this name, and we'll start with 1/9 of the position I have right here, and see if we can get up the 7s. It's taking out 6s here, getting very close. Some size came back up on 6s, so let's just take a piece off right there. It limits some of our risk, and that's how we're going to go. So we'll give it the rest of these 45 seconds for this candle, and we'll see if this candle can turn green and give us some upside. TNGX 40 seconds left. I really want to see it show me that wick, and that's what I want to see when this candle closes right here. Show me the buying pressure coming in the middle of this green candle. That's probably the first step for a continuation play. Still has 25 seconds left, not out of the woods yet. Hmm. More of a red engulfing candle. 2 seconds left. Let's see a little bit of buying coming. So just a tiny little wick right there. So let's go back into that 5 minute. You can see each wick on these 5 minutes has left some sort of buying pressure for the 5 minutes. So 850, I would actually expect to be a little bit of resistance. If we can get over top of 850, the next level would be the top wick right here at 870, where this could show some continuation. So right now, off this 5 minute, you have a nice tight consolidation channel that could easily be discredited as we are getting closer to where I think this should get bought up. My personal opinion. But we're not going to be adding anything to it. But you can see this tight descending channel retesting down to these previous highs. The buyers could be coming in here. I think that they will, personally. But uh, information is key. The more information you have, the better off you're going to be. Let's get a clear chart and just watch this. See if we can get some continuation on this name. Another part of this is now that we have this candle closed right here, this candle had 664K. So if we are going to break down through these eights, I would say right around my original entry could be a spot that we retrace down to, but I'd want to also see some decreasing volume on this candle if this candle wants to be red as well. So I think there's a lot of time left to be played out on this name, and by no means is that going to be over yet. GR. So I'm glad I got that piece taken off of that 206 range, and we'll see if we can continue holding these twos. If not, then we'll get stopped out. We'll take the loss on this one and move on. We'll try and find something else. I'd say notable is oil. Oil is notably strong. It tapped over top of 84s. Now, why is 84 so big? I think I haven't even looked at oil since I got back from vacation, but you can see this flat top that we've been testing the last few days, and now actually breaking over top of this high from April 12th and 13th. And the catalyst behind that is that, you know, it could start trading in this top range right here, where the top end of this range is 93. So if oil stays strong, I would not be surprised to see oil tapping into those 90s. That's just my honest opinion. And we've talked about oil so many times, it's not even funny. Uh, Down here when it was testing in these 60s, and we said that, hey, all it would need to do is test up to these 80s. Once it gets over those 80s, we could see it build this U shape where this turns into some sort of retracement. And when 78, 87 is that next retracement in the middle of this move to the downside, and then 94 meets up right at that sort of test. So just clearing everything and putting that fib tool back up there. If this wanted to turn into a 702 retracement, 110. If oil ripped to 110, I will be one happy camper. I'll leave it at that. So back to TGNX. Oh, back over that 8. You got to keep an eye on this one. So given that a little bit of a double bottom look off of 1515, but this, now that we have this first red candle in, you're still gonna have to worry about the middle of this red candle right here, because anybody that went short during this move, now that it's identified, this is potential that more shorts could come in the middle of this red move. But back to our original catalyst, that hey, this is some sort of tight descending channel right here, potentially like that. You can see it's trying to hold this level, which is in a sense your previous highs before the breakout. You have all kinds of wicks in this area that's trying to hold right now. So if this is going to break out, honestly, the 5-minute chart, even though I hate it, could give you the better look of what the true picture is. And GR holding, you can see on a 5-minute, we should respect these 207s up to this wick top right here, even though this is potentially a breakout candle right here. All it would take is for this to trade down, give up 2, and then you see a flush. But GR holding on strong. I'm actually surprised. I didn't think this would be the case. But I think we could go take another piece off of GR because there's not much size on the bid that's pushing this up, is reason number 1. So let's just go take another 9% off of the name. Actually, you could take out these 702s, or 207s. There's only 2 lots on 7, so as soon as this takes out these 207s and the bid stacks on top of that, we are looking to take a piece off. 1 lot on 207, 1 lot on 207s, and it wasn't able to take him out. Gave it up just a little bit. Now I'm keeping an eye on TNGX, which is up to 866. If it's able to try and push higher here, I might even hold the rest of my position for a day high break. And here's GR. I should have took that piece off. I knew this one. I'm almost tempted to just get ready to cut this position. Just I have a 203 fill, which is where we're at, and I have a 198 fill, and I have a 209 fill. So I'd kind of just wash the trade out, and I risk it ripping to the high side still, not staying true to my stop. But I think I might just want to focus on TNGX, which has a lot better of a setup in my opinion. I'll move that stop loss up to 199 because if it gets to 199, it's going to give this stair step look where it could flush down. So I'm going to save myself 4 pennies. We're going to put that stop loss in at 199. TGNX, let's just clear everything because I hate leaving marks off 5 minute. And I don't know why I put it up on a 15 minute, but a little bit of a wick into the middle of this red move. And what I mean by that is if I just put this small fib tool from top of that move to the bottom of that move, you can see that is the exact half right there that we are wicking into. I know that's a tough look, but I would rather just see this green candle shoom, go take out day's high. Maybe you can give me a halt to the upside. I would be all for it. Other than that, if there's anything anybody wants me to take a look at, I'm all for it. Like I said, I'm okay holding this all the way back into my entry, where we will play the reload on the name and execute some sort of out if it wants to keep going to the downside. But let's get a refresh on the movers for today. This was another one that Hal was watching, but when that second candle comes in on a red engulfing like that, not my cup of tea until I have more information. Array, nice green candle. Few red candles coming in, high volume on this pullback right here, so gonna need a little bit more time with that one as well. G and S, this looks like a retracement, honestly speaking, and what I mean by a retracement is a retracement up to that 702. So I could try it for a move up to there, but we're still rejecting this half. This could easily trade back in and have to work out some more kinks before it goes. Some other top movers, excuse me. Penn, I'm gonna be watching Penn all week. Even I might even be patient on this one. Just wait till tomorrow. So GR still trying to hold this level. The catalyst is, I thought it was going to trade down into these 180s. Well, it gaps up over these twos. So this is what we're playing. If it discredits this descending channel right here, we're looking for further movement to the upside. Currently had a stop in at 195. We moved that stop to 199. That's where we're sitting. TG and X. I really don't care what this name does. If it moves up, great. If it moves down, great. So that's what I got on the day. We can look at some losers. Some losers that I'm keeping an eye on is Docs. This is a name I've been watching, and had I not been on vacation, I probably would have a position in this name. Clear trend line. I would have probably been playing this trend line with an out. Well, now that I'm able to read through the earnings report, personally, I thought the earnings report was good. If you are looking long term into a high gross margin company with no debt and still showing, decent growth, they forecasted only high single digit growth for the rest of the year. Okay. A lot of these high margin companies, a lot of the bad catalyst that comes for them ends up being forecasting down. But down here near these all-time lows for this name, all it would take is for this to trade sideways and then catch a bid and try to retrace up to those 32s. I think this is a reasonably sound company, but you guys know I play strength. I'm not interested when the strength is down here. I think the house is in favor. So let's give it some time to retrace up. I do think Docs is a reasonable play to keep an eye on. Back to TNGX, playing around near these 8s, and GRR, back to these 207s. Why does this one feel like it has something there? GR, given this feel like, hey, we could easily rip through this 208 right here. Now, I told myself last time, why didn't I take a piece off? Oh, this is that same area. And the stop is still holding on, just briefly. I think we are going to go take one more trim on the name. We're going to take off another ninth of the position. And maybe this is what I got to do before we catch a bid to the upside. So took off another ninth of the position. It's under my first fill on the name, but with a 203 and a 198 fill, I think it's a reasonable area to, because all it would take is a rejection and a breakdown. So now I'm going to reinitiate my stop loss in at the 99s. So the stop is in at the 199s now. And there's 208s. There we go. There's 210s. Let's hey. That is completely fine. I'm all right with it. Mark it. Let's go start taking some pieces off. We're going to take off, I was saying 1/9. We're going to go take off 1/18 of the position. Let's see if I can get back over these 10s real quick. And there it is. So let's take off a 1/18 of the position there. Ringing the register. TNGX. Now it's on you. Are we going to pull back? Let's set an alert because I keep looking at GR. Let's set an alert on these 270 or 770s. And it looks like we are going to have that eventually trigger us. So let's look over at GR right here. 100 lots on 09s. There we go. Shot through the 10s. Still fighting it though. Still 100 lots on 09s. Still 100 lots on 09s. TGNX trying to hold 8s. And that fill for GR came in at 210.04. 210.04. So not a bad little fill there. I don't have my stop loss in, but I'm watching it enough, so I'm going to keep that stop loss out for now. Just for now. Now a big part of this, and why I like this setup, if it can close at this 210, 209 area in 42 seconds, is the body of this candle is at 207s. So even if this next candle pulls back in just a couple pennies, buyers could have just been waiting for this very moment where it builds this flat top and then breaks out. So you have the move down, you try to push up, you take out that high, you build this flat top, and then boom, break out and take out day's high, which meets in, call it a 225 to be safe. TGNX, still showing me that wick of buying. So if this wants to start building that U shape right here, that is the catalyst for the long, in my opinion. And volume was still a little bit extended. It was decreasing from the candle before down to 550K. And this is candle number 3, so we might need one more pullback candle before we make the move. But if we make the move now, if it gets over this wick high from the candle before, it's going to show you that U-shaped formation. I think there's going to be some longs that are going to try and jump in here. GR right around 208. Let's go take a look at where that previous candle closed. We don't have an open of the next candle yet. Look at some top volume movers. TNGX down to that 8 flat. So given that look like, hey, uh, got as low as 73s there, showing the wick of buying. So maybe this does need to be one more red candle, but this is where I'm going to be looking for this to start building that U shape that we're going to be looking for. Disney reports after hours, gaps up, showing a wick down towards this gap, but we have been playing around with Disney a little bit. You can see the catalyst on strength is getting very close to that positive break right into earnings. So, call that a coincidence if you want to, but giving the gap up today and showing you that, hey, down to this 88, the longs are probably, there are longs. I would put money on it that if you looked at the book right now, this closed at 88.13. I would bet you that there is some orders on 88.13, that gap, especially with today being an earnings day. Whether you're somebody that, is at work right now and you're like, hey, if Disney comes down, fills that gap, I'll buy some shares even while I'm at work because I can't look at it every single day. I can't look at it 24/7. So that's a catalyst with the gap up. The longs that are there, they're saying, hey, if it pulls back to this, I'll gladly buy some more shares. Whether that's 100% accurate or not, I have no clue. TNGX still holding these eights. GR up to 12.12. Uh-oh. 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 Looking very healthy now. Let's go and mark it out a little bit more. And let's mark it out just another 18th. Is there anything else that we should take a look at? BNGO up 4% where everything else is around that 1.5, 2. Let's go take a look at it. I know they had, oh, look at this bull flag right there. You get the increased volume move. Where's our open candle? Where's our open candle at? Oh, here it's Tuesday. Okay, so here's the open candle. Built a nice little U shape. Through, it's actually over top of this low as well. So 4 with a nice hold. If this did want to rip, I'd say 466 gap fill. And TGNX catching a little bit as well. Where's my GR? My GR is back down to 209. That's fine. That's fine. That's where the buyers are supposed to be on GR. Open orders at last trim on GR came in at 211.05. So just continuing to ring the register on these names. If we can get a breakout on one of them, I'll be satisfied. GR back in the 207, given that washout top look just a little bit. Where if I wanted to set a stop loss, I think even underneath of these 204s, if it gets there, we could just exit out of this position if we wanted to. There's not too much size on the bid, but if I closed out everything and this was a retracement, you see how that 702 is right there. Let's just go underneath this wick at 203s. Because now when it gives that washout wick top right there, There's been so many times where I've just ended up getting stopped out on this setup. Uh, we'll play it safe and we'll go 202. 202. I'm just ready to be out of one of these names. Maybe we only have this many shares left. Yep, I was right. Some buyers are still trying to come in off the top of this wick right here. So maybe what I have to do is just put a stop in for it to start moving up. Because every time I put a stop in on this name, it's started catching a little bit of a bid. There's no legitimacy to that whatsoever. But, you know, if that's what I gotta tell myself for the price to start moving up, hey, I'll do it. TGNX, candle number 3, we got 8 minutes left. We think that if it gets over top of this previous wick right here, we're flirting with maybe a day high break. We were putting an alert in right here for candle number 3. If it broke down, we were looking for a move down towards that 750, maybe that 730 around that original entry, where we're going to reload this name. I forget what the current position size on. We have 55% left of this position and at a 729, and the best fill is at 888. So no fills above that 9, but we think that we can still get a day high print on this. Be very possible. GR still kind of trading in this range where maybe this is the flat top it needs to build. If it takes that flat top out, boom, it would be a nice shoot up, test up to here where it's potential breakout from here. So 209 showing some good buying pressure right there. And TNGX giving the catalyst that, hey, this can still build into this bull flag look where it builds this U shape. Where candle number 4 is one that I want to see some continuation on. Other than that, that's what we're watching. Those are the 2 title names. Both of them have been winners so far. And let's see if we can make some more money on top of what we have already. So if anybody has any tickers that they want me to check out, I'll gladly tune over. We got a stop loss in on one and we got an alert in on the other. So do not be shy of throwing a ticker into that chat. I will look at it in a heartbeat. Yeah, aside from anything else, oil taking out days high. We said once it gets up into these 80s that it could easily start trading above this flat top, and the top end of this next channel is 93. It's got the strength. It's giving you the continuation to the upside already. You know, even if you think you're late to the ball game, as of right now, this is a clear trend change. Not a perfect downtrend, but there's some sort of downtrend in here that was a catalyst for a trend change. I'm sure there's 1,000 different ways to put a downtrend in right here, so I'm going to take that off. But then you go look at the NASDAQ, where this is a clear trend change, where you're given that 1-2 double top, where this gets your, it never fills this gap either. The shorts had enough control to keep it from filling that gap, and now you're taking out the lows. When you took out the low, it rejects this first bottom. This is, to me, is a clear trend change to the downside. So tech, clear trend change to the downside. Oil, clear trend change to the upside. So we've been talking about this for months. So I'll leave it at that. But current price on TNGX flirting with this flat top up here. Next range that we could be looking for a possible extension is IPO price, which was a flat bottom break, a retest, push up, and now taking out this flat top. Next range is up here in those upper 9s. So that's what we're going to be looking for. GR, we do have that stop in at 202, so 3 pennies off. If we get stopped out, you know, it is what it is at this point. We've taken enough profit on the name to feel comfortable getting stopped out. Looking around, let's see if we can find any clear difference in the percent movers here. Soundhound turned green to red. I'd say that's pretty bearish. Uh, see if we have any other clear. Now, when I'm looking for these difference in movers over here, the first thing I look at after I find one, we'll find an example here because there'll be one. Like right here, min. This 3.5% is a clear difference from all these other ones. The first thing I look at is that volume. See how the volume's only 4K? Not interested. Needs to have a clear difference in percent and also volume. So I'm not even going to click into it. Let's find the next one. Dyno, oil play. Not as much volume, 317K, but oil is strong. Lumen Technologies up 3% and has volume. Let's click into this. Oh, look at that. You get a move to the upside. 1, 2, candle number 3, giving you a bull flag type of look right at a flat top, has a gap that if it gets over top of this, somebody went short here, reloaded, potential reload. If it gets over 180, you could easily see this move up back up to 2. So this is what I look for when I'm trying to find a difference in movement over here, where the one that I found that I liked has this beautiful bull flag pattern right now. Now that doesn't mean that this is going to rip through this 180 level and keep going. I'm just saying that it's getting close. This candle right here is a candle I call the nut up or shut up candle. As soon as it gets to that 178, 180 range right there, if you my bad, headset turned off. If you don't take it right there, you risk it giving that move up. That's why it's called the nut up or shut up candle. Once it gets to that point, I can't do anything for you. I can't promise you it's going to pull back. I can't promise you it's going to go higher. I can't promise you it's going to go lower. All I know is that once it gets over this 180, that is a nut up or shut up candle in my book. So that was one example of how I use my watch list to identify a potential trade. Back to this TGNX, we have 2 minutes left in this candle. GR, right, I gotta go check and see if I got stopped out. We are 1 penny away from getting stopped out on this name. So let's go figure out and see if we got stopped out yet or not. And it's still open. So 1 more penny down, I'm out of this puppy. And we're off onto the next one, which is going to be TNGX. Uh, 204, thank goodness. Keep above that stop loss, which is that wick low. If I wanted to be safe, I could go lower that stop 1 penny, but I might not have to. Up to that 205 now, building a little bit of cushion from that stop. Now let's just make sure real quick that I didn't get stopped out yet, because it's possible I could have. Nope, we're still good. We're still good with the 202. Let's leave that stop in right where it's at. And now with 1 minute left, the buyers coming in at the back half of the or the end of this candle is a sign that I always like. It doesn't mean that's going to keep working out, but holding above that stop that we have in, that is what I like to see. So let's see if this can turn up, build the flat top. If it takes out 212, which is the body top of this candle right there, you see that's what we, in my eyes, is what we rejected. If we can take out that 212, I'm looking for some type of move up to, if I was marking the next level, I'd mark the body move of this, and I would mark the wicks of these tops right there. So these are where we're going to have outs. We're going to have outs at 216. We're going to have outs at 216 to 225 is where we're going to have outs. And we'll hold a piece of the dream. If we get higher than 225, we're thinking breakout. So back to the TGNX. Candle number 3, indecision. Clear indecision, but also again decreasing volume, and also has a wick of buying pressure into the middle of this green move here. That's what we like to see. So now we have the open of the next candle. Now from here on out, I don't want to see it give that stair step look, but if it does, I want to see it get bought up in the middle of this candle. So let's say we're 5 minutes into this candle right here. So theoretically, there'd be 10 minutes left, and it was a full red engulfing candle down to 26, 726. And then another 5 minutes goes by, and it shows that wick of buying back up to 8. That would be what would keep it away from being a stair step look in my eyes. Now let's say there was 2 minutes left in this candle, and this was a full red engulfing candle to the downside. That to me would be a stair step, and a stops would be coming in off of this 770 is how I would take that. So a couple different ways of looking at it there. Uh, GR right at this 205. So if this were to flush down, it could catch a bid off these twos, but I'm okay if this stops us out at 202. Personal opinion, I am okay getting stopped out of one. So TNGX, let's see if some buying pressure can come in off of these 75s is what I'm hoping for. I want to see this start building that U shape. Each candle has gotten lower. You see lower, 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 lower. As of right now, this is lower. We still have 14 minutes left. So let's see if this can start building that U shape. That's what we are looking for. Oh, why is my dog? My dog does this every single time. He does it every time. As soon as we are coming down to a point where I really want to watch something, he's got to go outside. I know. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I know. Do you have to go outside? Okay, come on. Let's go outside. Come on, let's go out. Every time my dog does this. Yeah, we're going to go out. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, you go. Oh, no. I'll be back. I'll be back. Okay, we're back. Of course, nothing's happening here. That's fine. GR. GR is still holding strong for right now. That is a good sign as well. A little bit of wicked buying as it came into these 70s, so nothing has given that stair step look yet. We have 10 minutes left on this candle. Just waiting for either one of these names to give us some sort of break. And I really like this setup. It's not there yet, but you can see how these last three candles are getting smaller and smaller. This this is shorts coming in the middle of this red move. This was some longs trying to get this to break out, and longs also coming back in, but also some shorts still getting in the middle of this red move. We just need the longs to come through and do their part, and start catching a bid to the upside. Good boy. Yeah, you're a good dog. GR still holding these two sixes. I like where my stop's at here. It could easily just wick me out real quick, but I really like how that's setting up right there. Giving you that first level, so if it comes back in and it keeps holding these 140s right here, this wick high probably on this candle is actually going to be your breakout for a move up to the bottom of this wick right there. See how fast that I just clicked over this for the first time in a while, and now the information that I'm presenting is that if it comes back in, holds these 140s and catches a bid and gets over 150s, that hey, let's go up and test up these 170. So if you wanted to look for a scalp, that could be an option. Oh, GR is going to stop me out right here. 203s. Here comes the stop. Here comes the alley. Just kidding. You either get it or you don't. This RXT has 1 mil in volume. Let's take a look at it. Comes in, fills the gap, puts a nice green candle in, builds a flat top. Now taking it out. If 250s wanted to hold as support here, could be a catalyst for a move higher. This GR is going to stop me out. I can tell. Wow. Still has not stopped me out there at those 202s. Down to halfway point of the candle. A little bit of wick of buying off of this 75 level. And there's 75s where this could easily give that stair step action down to the downside. Buyers continuing to come on in, holding that 75 level. Let's just get a refresh on the watch. Let's look at the movers to the downside. MF giving that head and shoulders type of look. Docs. TNGX finally crossed over that level. We're at the halfway point. We gotta see the buyers come in and keep it back above 75s, which is partially happening right now. Partially, almost. GR officially stopped me out at these 202s. Yep, there's a stop out of GR, so GR is officially gone. So it's up to TNGX. Holding above 75s for now, so that's a good initial look. Let's get back over 8s. This BNGO setup actually really isn't half bad. The daily is junk though. So really you're telling yourself that, hey, if I think it's going to run up and fill this gap now, this is the entry I want, I'm going to go for it. But it's a weak name. I'd expect a lot further movement to the downside. Personal opinion. Not something I'd be looking to hold. Lumen. Holding these 160s. Honestly, that's a pretty good setup. A retest on this candle back down to 75s, which has some support as well. Let's try and add some lumen to the list for today. We're gonna add a couple lots and go from there. I like that setup enough to try it. TNGX still showing that wick of buying. Gives a move, moves down above the green candle, setting up the flat top. Is this going to be able to hold? I don't know. Pen. Honestly, that NASDAQ short, that tech names, I'd watch out for them. They look weak, in my opinion. You know, some people maybe are thinking buy the dip. XLE, I'd put money on this outperforming. Just an oil fund. Oil right back into that 84 level. Moderna. I've been keeping an eye on Moderna. It's a weak name though. I was thinking about that 100 level. I'm actually looking more of this sort of flat top right here. Where if Moderna gets down to these upper 80s, that's where I'm going to be starting to try and punch along a little bit. Oh, that reminds me, PWM. What's this doing today? Up nothing. But this is that kind of support level I wanted to see hold right here. Give or take, we'll just call it a 10 level. Not any volume on the name today, so just not there yet. TGNX still rejecting this 8. Is this going to be the wick top of today? That's the story I want to find out. 2 minutes left in this candle. Now, when I originally was breaking down what I wanted to see, there was 2 minutes left, I didn't want to see this giving up down to the lows. We have the wick of buying pressure. Let's see if this can build that U shape and test up to the highs. As of right now, above 8. Candles now turn green. I mean, I don't think you can draw up a much better setup than this right now, honestly. 45 seconds left. See if we can continue getting some buyers in here. We have the open of the next candle. Bear with me here, guys. Bear with me. Breaks the downtrend, hold, hold, hold. Descending channel. If it breaks this after retesting like that, reject, 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 false break, green engulfing through it, hold, hold, hold with the descending channel. Look, potential breakout name, oil has been strong. On the other side, you have a nice uptrend. So even if it doesn't break this descending channel yet, if it comes back in, it's a pretty good setup right there. A retest of the neckline yesterday was the wick low. TNGX flirting with the green engulfing candle. As of right now, it is a green engulfing candle. Looking at the daily chart on end phase, just not quite there yet. Starting to give that curl. What happened to my 34? Really giving the catalyst of building this U shape right here. I mean, from this point, it's just patience. It's just patience. There's nothing that I'm going to change in this setup that I'm looking at right here. It's a nice bull flag look. All it would take is this next candle to turn green, get over top of these 850s. You know, if it wants to do it on this candle, I'm all for it. ZUA looking like we're gonna give this negative break, but you know what I say about this middle ground. The big players are here. All it would take is enough big players to be trying to play this 5 level off this trend line. Probably gonna say that the live stream is gonna take a course to an end when I get out of this trade, or uh, for something to happen with this trade. That's all we're gonna be waiting for, probably. I'd say that's a respectable type of channel right there. If this was early signs of something that was going to break out over 48 and run to the top end of the channel here, I think this is a legitimate play. Honest opinion. That would be MO. I think it's legit. If this trend line cracks, okay. Got some downside to these 40s. Maybe 35. TNGX still rejecting these highs right here. It did tap that though, up to 840s. And GR still trying to hold these twos here. Pen giving up the ghost a little bit. That's a good thing. We want to see this come on down, test into these support levels right here. Does kind of have this look like it is an ascending channel. Looks a little sloppy. Not going to keep that up there. Yeah, just focusing on this TNGX. We think that the setup is possibly there for this U-shape to build. If it comes back into the original entry, it's flirting with the 21. 5 minutes left on this candle. Held up the 8s decently. Traded below it a little bit. The GR still just sitting there, stopped out of it. Yeah, we'll keep looking back at it just in case, but I'm really in love with this TNGX, especially being $1 in the money right now. So we're going to give this a chance to break out. There's no way I'm paper handing this one. Not a chance in hell we're paper handing this one. If this is going to break the day's high, we're in it. Oil still right around these 84s, and the NASDAQ still looks like crap. That was the catalyst, is that a clear trend change as soon as it wasn't even able to fill that gap. I couldn't believe that. But a clear trend change where we have a clear trend change in oil. I mean, that tells the story right there. We can go look at banks. We haven't looked at any bank names, but BAC I am very interested in reloading this position, and where I want to start is this sort of neckline break right here, and my backup will be the 29.50 gap. I think it's no brainer long term if you're looking at this trend line, especially if we just trade down. You have a lot of backup on this name, but it's still kind of respecting this weird wedge pattern. Normally, when I'm looking at a wedge pattern, there's probably some sort of, if I cleared it, it's possible that you have it where it's a descending channel like this, something like that. But so I'll just leave that out. But yeah, we are 100% interested as we've already respected 31 halves and respected the 32.50 gap and the trend line. So if this wants to pull back in into these ranges, you still have strength on your side. I'm all for it. TGNX, this is the main focus for today. 2 minutes 50 seconds left on this candle where we think, even if it comes back down and tests below 8 one more time, we think that buyers are here. There's a catalyst for buyers to be here. If this wants to start going right now, I'm all for it. We want to see it get over 850. So I will say again, if you think this is boring just looking at TNGX, you're going to have to type something into the chat. I'll take a look at it gladly. Leaving that washout top look right there with 2 minutes left, shaved bottom, kind of a shaved bottom. So we don't want to see this candle turn red, but we probably have another candle that we're going to need to watch right here. Disney is another name that we need to keep watching as well. They have earnings report after. Flush through that gap, so gaps up. You're expecting buyers off that gap. Well, it wasn't there. Looking at the daily chart, strength is getting close to that positive. So if this were to come into the middle of this green move right here, I'm expecting some buyers to try and push this going into the earnings report. As noted before, that Penn and Disney had that agreement for the ESPN bet. That was the catalyst for wanting to play around with Penn today, but with a big gap up showing a red candle to the downside, let's see if we can get it closer into these 25s. So I'm very happy to see Penn catching a little bit of downside movement. TNGX, what are you going to do? Let's get a refresh on the watch list. Let's look at some movers to the downside. Docs, still right in here. This is one we're going to keep watching. Yell. That's actually an interesting little setup it has right there. I might have to look back at that at some point in time. Nikola way down. We are still holding that piece of Nikola. Best print on the name was a 341 from our 150 entry. If this wants to come retest this flat top, that is the day we're going to be playing Nikola. So if that comes in towards the end of this week or maybe next week, we are going to be trying that Nikola again. I'm all for it. AI, that's a big name. There's your catalyst for this channel. Boom, breaks down, gives a leg up. Well, if this gets down to the bigger long-term channel right here, strength isn't quite there, so we might need to watch and see if it starts wicking towards this channel. But I'd be all right to try it this uptrend right here. But being out of the tech names right now is something that I think is a wise play. My opinion doesn't mean that I'm right. I'm just a guy. Looking at some of these other big movers, we got to go look back at giving up 8s for right now at the start of this next candle. Given that sort of stair step look, our buyer's going to be coming in here off this 750 range, give or take. Well, looking at the 5-minute, I'm not a fan of saying this is a double bottom, and this candle just opened up, so I'm not going to say that it is. But when I see that wick right there, It's in the back of my head where all we need to do is confirm this little bit of higher low right here. Looking at it from this perspective as well, if this was some sort of downtrend right here, you broke the downtrend. Now, if it can hold a higher low on top of this downtrend, that's probably no legitimacy there as well, but that's what we're going to be watching for. This could easily flush down to this 34. But let's just go reclaim 8, and then let's see this transpire into this U shape, where I still agree that this breakout level is going to be this 850. If it gets over 850, we think that there could potentially be something there. What else can we take a look at? Let's see if we can find something. See any big difference movers here on this watch. 4%. You know, there is 240K in volume. Let's go see what it looks like. Nice slow churn to the upside. It's really not a half bad look. Just not enough volume. And I don't like the name personally. Let's see what else. They reported today. This is right around this gap. Which, for the report that I looked at, I thought that it was reasonable. But your strength isn't there. I'm not a fan of betting against strength in this situation, and maybe I'm missing something with the earnings report. Where if this gave up this, there was no gap fill buyers off 58, you know, you could actually see this flush come in and be a retracement play for this move. So my next retracement would be the 618 and the 702. So I'm already telling myself that, hey, if we flush that 58 level, we could be seeing some downward pressure, 7 to 10%. Now zoom out just a little bit more. You have some sort of trend line where if this took a while to get there, we could be looking at October 50 flat. TNGX giving up the level for now. Let's see if this can hold or not. At the very least, we'll stop out at an even trade. So we'll keep. At the very least, we'll give it 50s. You have my word, I will not be out of this trade before 750. So if this is going to work out, you best believe I'm going to have a piece of it. And I think that this catalyst is still there, as this wick buyers are still coming back in. 11 minutes left, so I mean, a lot of time left on this candle for it to flush down. But I will give it 750s. You guys have my word there. Looking at the other movers, this is trying to hold. Looks like it's setting up a flat bottom break actually. Array still kind of holding this gap up level. You know, risk reward, you could at least maybe try and get 2150s, which is a little bit below that 21. Where you could set your stop loss, give it to the wick low. I know that might seem like a lot of risk, but this could easily go and try and build some sort of ascending channel where you can get a print up back up towards these 23s. I probably won't trade it right now, but if this ends up stopping us out and I see that it's right around that 2150, I may try it. This RXT, we said that, hey, it came down, it gaps up, fills the gap, puts in a green candle through that whole red move, builds a flat top, boom, and then it wicks into the tops. See how these tops are right here? I'll mark just these two. See how we're wicking into the top, now taking out the high, and that just so happened to be right at a 250 level. Let's go look at the daily chart here. You have strength. You have a little bit of a false break to the downside and negative strength, but buyers coming back in. Here's your gap. Here's your gap fill buyers. I wouldn't be surprised to see this hold strength. I haven't looked at the earnings report, but it looks like a beat from this end. I don't know what the year-over-year numbers are looking like there. Looks like about flat. A little bit of a decrease. But if you're just betting on strength, not a terrible look there. We haven't looked at Boyle all day. I would say what's interesting about this setup right here, I'm just going to mark one thing to paint the picture clear. Here's your gap, down, boom, 1, 2. You have a nice 5-wave structure right here. You set a high or low, you push up, you fill that gap. Now you trade, you confirm a high or low, and now you're taking out these highs right now. If I was looking at a next extension point, I'd be looking at this flat bottom break right here. See how that little mess comes in right there? I wouldn't be surprised to see this test up to 87, trade down, retest this flat top, and have some further move. Dream move would be this gap at 155. If we're talking about a move to 155 and we're at 75 right now, or 76, hey, I'm just saying that I wouldn't be surprised to see it shoot to the upside. I wouldn't be surprised to see it tank to the downside either. But actually a pretty decent setup on Boyle. If we're looking at the daily chart and just looking at strength, here's your positive break on strength. On this day right there, this is where you're flirting with that middle ground. Boom, gap up. So you got those buyers that are coming in. And with this gap filled now you're flirting above this wick right here. I'm just saying it's not a half bad setup. That doesn't mean go fucking, or excuse me, that doesn't mean go unload the boat on it. But I'm just saying that the setup, I could definitely see a catalyst for it. And Penn continuing this red candle. Yes, sir. Come back on in. Come down to these middle 25s where we can play that 25 level and then play the gap level right underneath 25 for backup. I like the earnings report. A beat plus the news drop with the ESPN bet. Penn is going to be a title name. You know, GRR shouldn't even be a title name anymore. Let's go see what that ended up doing, actually. It looks like it's back underneath that 2 level, so I feel pretty good about that out. But they do report after hours. That was why I just didn't want to play around with it. So GRR I still think is a reasonable for maybe a long. If this gapped up above 250 tomorrow, I bet you it would rip. That doesn't mean it's going to. Uh-oh, I seen it tap those 8s. I seen it tap those 8s. Watch out. And, you know, I talked about at the beginning of the red candle that even though there's a lot of time left, this wick came in just a wee bit higher right there in towards my 21. All it would take is for this to get over 850. This could actually end up halting at a 950 break. Oh boy, I hate vacations. Had a great time. But I am struggling here, fellas. My voice is gone. I still feel kind of crappy. My sleep schedule is way off. But we're here. And just to be clear, I still have that same 55% position. You know, I'm tempted to even try a few shares right here. And we'll still give it that 750 level. So let's go check in on where our outs are. How many outs do we have above 8? I see an 888. I see an 884. I see an 847. I see an 824. So we have a little bit of leeway here where we can try TNGX. Let's try it. Let's try it just for a few shares. We're going to buy back 15% of the position. Buying back 15% of the position market, and I'm not even going to try and get it closer down here. We're going to try and add just a little bit to it. So we got that 15% bought back. Coming down a little bit, that's fine. That's fine. It still passes everything. Nice sideways consolidation. If this all it would take is a reclaim at 8, if it gets over the top of this candle, let's see it put that green engulfing candle. 850 is our breakout. Let's go see where that fill actually came in at, so I can give you guys accurate information on what I'm doing. We got 789.96 market order. Now that we're getting closer, I mean, we don't have too much more leeway. Let's go see what the tape is looking like here. We got 13 lots on 87s at 8 through those. Let's go on the bid at 765, and we'll buy back another 10%. Nope, we're gonna go 775. 775, we're buying back another 10%. of this position if it gets there. So that'll leave me with 70, that'll leave me with 80% of this position if we fill 75s. I'm okay if it doesn't fill those 75s. If it wants to break out before that, by all means, go for it. There's 779s, 779s, 780s, so close. 4 pennies off. TNGX. TNGX is 1 lot on 78s, 3 lots on 79s. Are we going to get these 75 fills here? I'm tempted to just switch this to a market. We're at 75s. Are we getting a fill here? Let's just switch it to market in case we didn't get that fill. Okay, we got the fill there. Now let's see what we got. We got 80% of this position left. TNGX, TNGX, what are we gonna have in store? I said I'm giving it to 50s. I gave you guys my word that I will give this till 750s. I do not like this candle with 3 minutes left. Come on, buyers, come back on in. There's 34 lots on 72s. We have a little bit of size on 72s. Still holding above that low wick right there as well. Kind of giving that stair step look, so 2 minutes left to show us some sort of wick of buying. That's what I'm focused on. There's a little bit of a wick there. We still have 2 minutes left. $15 lots stacked on 78s, 8 through them. 65 lots on 70s. This is pretty much that give level right here. 42 lots on 70s. Minute 30 left. Eight through the 70s. Here's 60s, 65s, 63s. Here's 50s. We're going to buy back the last 20% of the position right here. We're going to give it one last chance here. So we have 100% of our position from the very first fill. 100% of the position. Let's see what we got. $42 seconds left. Where'd that last fill come in? So you guys know the information. We got 760s. We're going to give it to these 50s right here. $20 seconds to show us a wick bot back up to those 70s. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. 8 seconds. We have a little tiny wick right now. Just a little bit more though. This next candle could flush here. This next candle could easily flush on us here. Oh boy, it's not looking good. 33 lots on the ass. They're at 60s. So the shorts are really trying to push this puppy down. Are we going to have enough buying come in here at these 50s? It doesn't look good. $24 lots coming in there. Took out those 60s. That's a good start. That's a good start. I'm just trying to find some positive energy here. I don't care if you're on the craps table. I don't care if you're playing basketball. I don't care if you're trading stocks. Sometimes you got to bring that positive energy. 750s. Come on, baby. We need some buyers coming in here. 31 lots on 53s. 30 lots on 53s. They're trying to push it through these 50s here. Given that stair step look down here. And there's through 50s. Oh boy. 740 stops going in now. If 740 triggers, we are out officially. And that would be a $6 loss on the position that I have right now. So with all the profits we took earlier, this is still going to be a green trade. I said I'd give it 50s, 740s, what we're giving it here. Trying to hold. 50s holding up for the time being. There we go. There we go. Have some faith here, fellas. Have some faith here, fellas. These 750s are going to hold. I'm 100% joking there. I have no clue. Actually, if I had a gun to my head right now, I'd say it's not. But I am believing in this 740 stop. 760s, keep going. Come on. Let's go. I've had enough of it. It's time. A big part of what I don't like about this is going to be hard to break through right there. 784s, wick through, body candle. If it retraces back up in the 80s, we would think about an exit. But, you know, if we get stopped out these 740s, we lose $6 on the current position. We have plenty of profit taken up to this. So it will be a green trade. Now, I'm not saying that is reason for you guys to give me any type of credit, but at the end of the day, this is going to stay a green trade for us. The only way it wouldn't is if it halted before I got stopped out. Still a wick of buying, holding those 750s. Doesn't look good. Every time I keep saying it doesn't look good, it tries to hold these 50s. One of these times it's not. Which is the sad part, because we had a lot of fun with this. There's 745, 740 is going to come in real quick here. I'm going to peek over at GRRR real quick. So our original stop we were going with was these 195s. As I increased my stop loss, it helped my out. And we did get some nice prints up here in this range off of the 198 entry. But, you know, is there going to be buyers off that gap at 190? I don't know. Looking at the catalyst that we were looking at before, this is kind of right at that potential downtrend that we thought it was going to be at, where we thought 175 was possibly an area. TNGX, oh my goodness, I can't even believe I keep looking back over here and we're still in this. Let's mark that 740. What did I say about Array? Array catching a bid here, where I said this was a very good risk reward area. Now, just because it does this, that doesn't mean I'm a genius or a godsend. I'm just saying that, hey, somebody is holding it up above this price, and we were saying 2150 was a really good risk reward area, and you'd be, you know, if you just market ordered in and waited for that 2150, one, you would have never got 2150, but that first initial entry you would be in the green. Just gonna point that out. I did like that setup on Array, and actually looking at the daily chart on it, we're watching it. We said, hey, this is a nice uptrend. Well, now getting a fresh positive break and some continuation. Your flat top's up here at 24 to 25. So any entry before that was saying, hey, we can trim 24s to 25s and maybe hold a piece for the dream. TGNX still has not stopped us out at these 740s. Oh boy, what else have we got here? Still hold. I don't like it. WN, a nice continuation. A lot of these oil names are probably going to look the same, but I'm not going to go and trade oil because I'm not bragging when I say this, but I'm long oil. Long. I don't care what it does. Cow is a nice ETF, oil related ETF. Nice move to the upside. Lumen, we thought that Lumen was a decent little setup. Looks like we're going to have to go test and see if this is going to build some sort of channel to the upside. Give or take something like that. Probably not too much accuracy, but if 170s hold, could be something. Just run your out underneath that wick low right there. Not a bad play. Man, it did tap those 100 flats. Nope, not quite. Discover Financial. We want to be long this name. We're not long yet. But weakness, it's still a weak name. It could churn up still a little bit. But if this comes down into those middle 90s, Discover Financial will be in the portfolio. No questions asked. Looking around some more. Let's see what else we can find. Then we'll go look back and see if we've been stopped out yet. I'm very excited to look through Baba's earnings pre-market tomorrow. I will be live streaming early to go through this report. Which Baba, if you don't know, their earnings reports are very confusing. It's going to be a 50-something page document that I'm going to have to try and break down. At the end of the day, I'll try and keep it simple. And of course, TGNX 742s, did that stop us out? Did it? Looks like it tapped it, and we are officially stopped out. It's too bad. It's too bad. We gave it a shot, guys. We still took a green trade with it. We thought it had the catalyst to maybe build some sort of U-shape. But at the end of the day, you can only do so much, and you always have to have an out somewhere. I don't care what ticker you're playing, unless you're playing some sort of ETF long term, and you don't care if it goes down. If you're day trading an individual ticker that's up 100%, at some point in time, you got to have an out. And there my out was, and we're out of it. So before the live stream ends, I will briefly look through each ticker and see if we can find something else. And then that's going to call it for today. So whoever tuned in today, I appreciate you tuning in. And you can't always hit the home run trade. We thought we had a home run trade here today. I should have just, looking back, there's always a hindsight where you can look back and say, oh, why didn't I get out everything I had right up in here? I mean, well then it could have went up to 11 and you would have been like, oh, why'd I get out and everything. There's always something that you can say to make yourself sound better. But at the end of the day, it's about taking accountability for yourself. And that's what we did. It doesn't look good doing it on live stream, but I'm taking accountability for myself. If I would go back and change something in this trade, I think I played it pretty good. Even if it were to rip from here, at the end of the day, finding a green trade on the day is not an easy thing to do. And we did that twice today on the two title names. Both these title names were both green names for us today. And I'm going to stay positive, and we'll have coming into this lunch hour, I'm not expecting to find a new position, but from that 12:30 to 1 o'clock range, we'll maybe find something else and continue ringing the register. So let's look through these names, see if we can find anything. DXC has decent volume, up 1.5% here. A nice slow churner. How about that? Strength on the 15s not terrible. Looking at the daily, if I was looking for an entry on this, it's a weak name. Strength is down at 250, so not there yet. But if I was looking for a scalp trade, I'd probably be looking to run it up to that 2070. Let's see what else we can see. Tilio. Tilio, we said that, hey, down towards that gap. Not a terrible try if you wanted to try it. But it still has to fight through these previous lows right there, which is what it's wicking into right now. So until it gets over top of 60 flat again, I don't think there is a trade I'd be interested unless it shot down, filled this gap, where I'd be looking for a scalp to these wick lows. So my percent on this trade for that gap fill would be about at 0.9%. So is it even worth trying it? I'm gonna say no. So let's keep moving on. Mara, this is at 16 mil. This might actually have something here. Looking at this 15 minute. This is actually a nut up or shut up candle we're in right now. Breaking over top of this neckline. If this pulls back in towards that 16 flat area, 16 flat, around 16 flat would be my entry I'd look for. And then I'd average in down the 1590. I would give it this 34 exponential for an out. So let's see if we can find a trade quick here before we end the live stream. But I think this Mara is the trade in 1605. Let's just try it while we're here. This Mara is, we're gonna get an entry onto the name, just a small fill here. I missed those 1605s. Let's see if we can get it back down there one more time. I'm just looking for an entry into this position. These nut up or shut up candles, every time I identify them, they start working for them against me before I get the entry. Okay, there's so sevens. Come on. Come on. Come on. There's 52 lots on 10. We want that to shoot it back down a little bit. Let's double check on the daily real quick though. We don't want to be too quick. Still holding positive strength there, so this passes the rules, and we have the earnings report out of the way. We think that we could possibly run this up into those 16 halves. Maybe even a day high break. Oh, it shot through those 16 tens. Oh man, the nut up or shut up candle. We still can possibly have the next candle where it pulls back in. So let's just be patient. We're going to try this trade before we end the live stream. So if you're still out there watching, I don't know if anybody is. But this is kind of what I look for. I use a big watch list of 634 tickers. And when I'm looking for something, I'm just looking for stuff that's outperforming other names. And there's 1607s, 1606. Okay, we're gonna try our entry into the name small fill, just a small fill. So now that I have my entry, I'm expecting it to actually pull back in more. Small, there's our pull back in more. Let's go right on the bid at 1602 and 16 flat. And we're gonna get two other orders in for the name. 1602 is what we're on the bid for, and we'll go 16 flat. And our last entry is gonna be 1590 and putting it out underneath the lows. There's 03s. There's 78 lots there. Let's just add a little bit more. So that should have gave us a 16.3 half. And we're on the bid at 1602, and we're going to go on the bid at 16 flat as well. So 1602s probably gave us a fill there. Let's go right on the bid here at 16 flat. $16 flat, we're on the bid. Candle is showing a little bit green right now. So let's go over where all our fills are at. We have a 160641, we have a 1602, and a 160385. We're on the bid at 16 flat. Now some would say that, hey, you're setting up some sort of double top right here. I could care less about a double top when I'm betting strength and a nice volume increase after a nut up or shut up candle. So let's see if this 16 flat can fill, and it looks like it's going to. Our next fill is going to be in these 90s. We're going to stay true to this and see if we can get this going. Mara 16 flat, looks like it did fill us there. Let's go find out for sure. We got the 16 flat, so we have all right size on this position. Let's see if we can get some movement to the upside now. TNGX. I just don't know. I'm gonna switch this 34 exponential to a double real quick. I only have access to 3 indicators, so I mean EMA. I like switching between the exponential and the double. So let's get that double in there, and let's switch this to a 34, and you're gonna see how it changed it. There we go. So if this came in the 7 flat, I could think about it again. Let's change the color on that. Let's get it to my color, which is a green. And there we go. So let's set an alert off of this top right here at 720s. We can think about re-entering into that name if we wanted to. Mara 1603. Looking at the portfolio for the day, not a terrible day, and that's saying something with the markets being down pretty good. But oil definitely a holder of our portfolio today. Holding up. Disney shot through those levels. Let's take a look over at Disney real quick. Continuing to that downside where we said, hey, wick, that's what we're marking. Putting in a green candle for right now. I don't know when it's going to happen. Maybe there's another leg down to these 87s. Excuse me. Down to these 87s, but I'm expecting some type of move to the upside leading into the earnings report. That's just my opinion. So that's another thing that we're going to be looking for to. My bad, headset went out. That is another thing we are going to be looking for today. This Mara is still sitting at 1602s, so nothing crazy yet. And one thing I like about trading this Mara trade right here is it's not super volatile. Like if this were to go and stop us out, comparing it to TNGX, the range from the low is 5 up to 9. Mara does not have that type of range on it where it's a little bit less volatile. And if I'm taking something at this lunch hour, I want it to be something that's not going to just flush and I lose a ton of money right off rip. But a nice hold of 16 for now. We have 10 minutes left on the candle, so it's really not anything super big yet. But that's what we're looking at. Soundhound regained those twos. I said Soundhound wasn't ready yet. We looked at it down here when I was under those twos. I haven't looked at the earnings report. Looking at the daily, just strength isn't there yet. Not yet. Maybe if we get to a point where we're flirting with 250, maybe there's something there. But yeah, I just don't think so yet. BNGO, we said we did like this setup, but same story. Strength just isn't there yet, and they have earnings report coming up. But you can see like the sideways consolidation, respecting this for my 21s at 406 right now. So BNGO, just not a lot of volume there either. There's our Mara 1602, 1601, and there's a break of the 16s. So maybe we can go on the ask a little bit here. Let's just market order in for some more, and we're going to give it to the lows. Still going to mark it in a little bit more on this order here. And taking a live trade is not an easy thing to do, but we're saying that since it stair-stepped above these wick highs, we're expecting some buyers. 9 minutes left. Oh, brother. Brother. It's all right. We're going to average some more in right here. 1590s is where I said I wanted my last order to be. We're going to take 88s. So in the middle of this green move, I'm telling myself, hey, I want some buyers to come in right here. And there's that wick of buying that we want to see. So Mara, I'm in the red a little bit right here, but I do like the setup. Maybe the setup is a little hard to explain, but the catalyst is that, hey, if the buyers were there to push this resistance level, which, was over here as well, I'm expecting those same buyers to come on in. So we're going to find out. But I'm okay giving it down to these 70s. 8 minutes left on the candle. I want to see this candle show me a wick of buying. Even if it only closes at like 1594, I want to see it show me a little wick of buying. There's 87s. We're not going to add here. We have our position filled. It's a red engulfing candle to the downside. But we have 7 minutes to see this wick develop into some buying pressure. I will run a stop here at 1570, probably right at support. But that's what we're going to be doing. 7 minutes. Here's the wick of buying starting to come in just a little bit. And that's what we're looking for right there. I shouldn't speak too soon. There's still 7 minutes left on the candle, but this is what we want to see right there. Looking at pen, and this is why these red candles right there are scary. You probably had a bunch of outs get executed right there on that move to the downside. TNGX still trying to hold these 50s. Looking around at some of these other movers. End phase takes out the day's high, wicking into these tops right here. Personally, if you're a long-term investor, I'm being greedy. I have it marked where I want him. We didn't play this gap because strength isn't there, but if this came down into those mid-20s, into those mid-teens, and close to 101 or 100, that gap at 106, I promise you I'll have an order off that 106 gap there. Mara still holding these 95s here. Looking into these previous lows here, though, is a little bit intimidating, but I think the 15-minute chart doesn't look half bad. Still leaving that bit of wick into the middle of that green move. $15.96 down to 93s. I get a water. This is probably going to take 45 minutes to figure out if it's going to do something. We can check back at this. That wick is scary. I'm gonna warn you right now. An RENB has a scary wick, but the volume is picking up. Has a chance. Array, we said I should have just got out. I said I wouldn't do this, but I should have got out and traded this array because this is the setup I like right there. Would be over $1 in the money. Is what it is. Can't take it back now. Mara down to 91s. Still showing that wick of buying. We have 3 minutes, 30 seconds left. Up to 96s. Up to 97s. So looking back at the position, let's see where after every order, what is our average for the name? We have 1598. So 3 minutes left. Let's just see this wick hold. That's all we want to see. Looking at the activity, our two best fills are 1594 and 1590 or 88. So we only have one fill that's even in the money. Not anything to brag about yet. Array right through the 23s. Mara trying to catch a bid here. 1596. Gonna take a little time. It's gonna take a little time. I like the setup though. TNGX getting closer to that alert level where, down here, just let's get rid of those red lines right there. I would say you have some sort of something that looks like that. So down here towards this 7 flat area could potentially be that descending channel that we're looking for. Let's look back at Mara. Up to 96s. I know my first initial orders might not have been the greatest, but that's a risk. You guys keep hearing me talk about the nut up or shut up candle. That's how many times I've seen this show continuation. I'm willing to buy the top of this move because once you get to that nut up or shut up candle, there's no telling what happens next. There's no telling. Ain't no telling. Look at the top volume for the day. See what we can find. We have SQ, TNG, R&B, Pen, Sound, Mara. So we're playing with a high volume name. We've already looked at all of these. We talked about Pen. We said we're not ready for Pen. We already got stopped out of the TNGX. We're not ready for that yet. We've already talked about the NASDAQ short. You can go look at my last live stream from before. I said, hey, we were down here. I said I would not be surprised because this gap wasn't being filled. I said, hey, I wouldn't be surprised to see this, and you guys are gonna laugh, but you can go back to my last live stream. I said I wouldn't be surprised to see this run up to 28. And why? Let's look a little bit further to the left. Let's go to the daily chart so I can actually show my example. Right there. I run all the ways up to 28. Hey, we're only at 19, so I'm not gonna brag about anything, but we filled a gap, and we're over top of that gap when this couldn't fill. TNGX just triggered there. Mara still showing a rejection of this 16. Coming into the next candle, we do have that wick of buying right there. So 1590s, that's what we're looking to see hold here. So I mean, we already talked about sound down. We said the strength isn't there. That's what kept us away. So really, out of the top volume movers of today, the only two that are viable here, and we talked about oil, we talked about array, we traded GRRR earlier, we already got stopped out of it. I mean, what other option do I have to trade it through this? Mara was the only other one. So I'm, whether it stops me out or not, I seen this as the only other option of something that I could trade for you guys on live stream. And maybe I don't have enough tickers on this watch list, but this watch list is 634 tickers. So I mean, you can't tell me I don't have enough working for me on this watch list. This should have a little taste of everything. Anything that you're looking for should have a little taste of it. I mean, and to me, I still think I was just a little bit early. Mara giving up the 34 for now. 12 minutes left in this candle. If I was marking this out for a fib move to the upside, that 618 is right there, but this candle can still close above that 90 level. See, I never put a fib tool in there, but I knew that 1590 was a level because of wick, 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 breaks through it. You had the buyers all the ways in down here, the 1570s. So, I mean, if I wanted to try this, if it came into this 1585 to 1580, that would be where I'd put one last order and then put my stop in through the day's low. And there's 85s that just tapped it. So like I said, I still just think I was a little bit early to this name. But I mean, there's nothing else that I can really find except for if I wanted to punch the high a day on array. But we were just talking about array down here and said, hey, this is a reasonable risk reward trade right here. TGNX tapped that 7 flat almost. This was the other option that we had. We could have just waited patiently for TNGX. But still, trading inside this descending channel. Let's see it trade sideways a little bit and then take a breakout to the upside. Mara down to these 84s, down to these 82s. Let's try one more order on the name. There's 81s right here. I mean, that's probably the best I'm gonna get for what I'm looking for. 11 minutes left. Volume is definitely executed some stops there. There's a little buying coming in. Just like that. Just like that. Now, I mean, I'm not out of the woods by any means yet, but there's 1590, so we had a pretty decent ad right there. Let's see what that did to the average of the position, which is still in the red, but that moved it down to 1595s. 1595s is the average. So here at 1590s, I mean, we're really not that far out of the money. This could easily turn green for us. TGNX flirting with that 7 level. I could give it 15 pennies if I wanted to. Switch that to the volume so we can see Mara and TGNX at the same time. There's 7s. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. TNGX. Let's go get that stop in at 1690 right away. $16.90. We're gonna try it, or not $16.90. $6.90. $6.90 stop is in. We did get our 7 flat fill there. So we were in right off of 7 flat. We're executing the plan that we talked about. 7 flat fill. We're giving it 10 pennies. Mara. Still leaving that wick, so it doesn't look half bad. GNX, if this were to catch a bid to the wick low 724s, we're going to be out, and we'll rinse and repeat that off of this 34 level. Mara tapping those 90s. I'm just watching Mara and I'm watching TNGX. You know, a true move for this name would be a retest up to those 50s. Here's the 50s that we're trying to hold right there. You know, honestly, probably more like 725s to 735s is more legitimate. But this flushes through 690s. I mean, all we can say is we gave it a try. Mara up through 96. How about that candle? After everything that's happened, we are flat on this trade right now. Our first fill came in at 06. At 06. And we're flat on the trade right now. So for anybody who wants to be laughing out there saying, this guy has no clue what he's talking about. You don't lose money until you sell. Until you are out of that position, it is an open market out there, fellas. So, did you buy any stocks today? Prad Leo, yes. The 2 title names. We don't have a stop in on Mara, so I'm going to keep an eye on this. But the 2 title names we did try, and I will give you. I don't have the greatest memory, but we'll start with the GRR, which was the first trade we tried. Our first fill came in at 209s. We had a 217 fill. It came all the ways back in. We reloaded 207s. We reloaded 203s. And then we, at our risk reward stop, we were playing it like this channel. So it gapped up above this channel. I thought it was going to trade down here. It gapped up, so that's why we were trying it. We had a 198 fill. We put the stop in at 195. Worked all the ways up. We had, I think, 8 or 9 different fills, with the best fill on this reload up to 212. And then we got stopped out at 202. And we're probably not trading GR anymore today. So as soon as I put that 198 stop in, that's when I went over the TNGX, which we have a 690 stop in at a 7 flat order right here. So we're in at 7 again, and we have a stop in down to 690. I'm giving it 10 pennies. I'm probably going to get stopped out right here, so not a great look. But as soon as we put that first stop in on GRR, we took a fill at 729 with our best print coming in at 888. And we tried the reload right here in this candle. We tried 782, 775, and 760. We got stopped out at 740, and now we're trying it off this 7 level again, which is the body high of this first candle. So those are all the trades with that. This TGNX, when we got stopped out from our 729 entry, we only lost $6 on that, but we took way more than $6 to the upside. So this actually was a green trade, and the only reason why we're trying it off 7 flat is because it was a green trade. Now, after that, I'll explain to you why we're trying Mara. But I call this a nut up or shut up candle. As soon as it gets over top of this, you risk it going up higher. Is my theory. So our first order came in at 606. These are all recent, so I can look at all these fills. First order came in at 60641. The next fill 1602, 1603, 16 flat, 1594, 1588, 1581. We said that if the buyers were able to push it over top of this, we're expecting those same buyers to come in the middle here. Our average on this position is 1595. And if I wanted to, I could go just get out of this right now and take the green trade. But the catalyst is that, hey, if this takes out 1612, let's go over to the daily. 1612, which a lot of lows coming in here at 1590. We think that we can run this up you know, we could get 1625 is probably going to be my first spot that I'm looking at. I just this wick low in the body of this candle, 1625 is what I'm looking to get for my first fill. But if it goes higher, we have free reign up to the top of these body candles up here in front of my 21. Those are all the trades that we've taken today. Now, why did I decide to switch to Mara? We talked about the SQ, we talked about that on our last live stream down at 17. I'm not looking to play this. TGNX, 9 pennies in the money, so it's working for us right now. Our We don't like this setup right here. This red engulfing through the bottom, if this were to take out 160, maybe there's something there. But for all I have it sorted by volume, just so you know. Penn, we wanted to trade Penn this morning. We love the catalyst. We love the connection with Disney. I'm long Disney, but we said, hey, with a big gap up right here, we're going to go over to the daily. We want this as close to 25 as possible. And then we have our gap fill. So we gap up. We're going to play 25s, and then we're going to play just under 25 off that gap and run a stop loss at 24. Because I like the catalyst, I like the earnings report. So that's our other green move. Soundhound, strength isn't there. Negative strength. We weren't going to play Soundhound today. That leaves Mara. Mara still holding positive strength. On the 15-minute, we had a nut up or shut up candle that was coming in. And this is what came down to. At the end of the day, it means it's all about volume. Now, if I was just a new trader that had an open portfolio with nothing in it, we would be trading all the oil names, every single one of them. But we already got our entry built. We are long oil. We are long oil, and this is your trend change. You break this downtrend, and you're setting this bull flag continuation. We think that if oil, now this is XLE, I should go to the actual oil chart here. We think that if it can trade over top of this 83 level, the top end of this range is 93s. Where the trend has changed on oil, the trend has also changed on the NASDAQ, your tech names. We have this gap fill marked. You see how it wasn't able to fill that gap? And then you took out the lows? That is a trend change in my opinion. We go back to oil. We're flirting with the top end of this range. We have a bull flag continuation. That is a trend change. So in my eyes, the trend has changed from tech to oil. So if I didn't have any oil positions, I would be playing oil right now. That's just the mere truth. And that is everything that you need to know catching you up for the day. You're probably not even still there. But at the end of the day, that's what I got for you. And Mara. You know, I had 4 people watching me when I was doing this Mara trade. Immediately when I took the trade, Mara came down in and everyone stopped watching. Ha! Where's everyone at now? Where's everyone at now? We're going to ring the register on this puppy. Yeah, I've had enough. I've had enough of this bullshit. I'll go toe-to-toe with any trader in the world. Toe-to-toe. Any of them. That's the confidence level I run at. And we're going to go take a piece off this for a hey. Ring the register. That's a fill. 1609. That's what we're on today. Oh, man, I'm done playing around. I've had enough. I've had enough. Go ahead. Who has something to say now? 4 people watching. Goes in the red in the next 5 minutes and everyone tunes out. Huh? I've had enough. I've come to play. I just got back from a 2-week vacation, was trying to trade off a shitty laptop. Hey, now we're back in the office, back on the live stream. This is what we're on. Get my fucking blood, my blood pumping. My bad for the language. You want to get my blood pumping? Go ahead, because I'm ready. Continuation. Let's see it. This is nut up or shut up. Boom. Come on. Even if it pulls back into 1604s, we like this setup. Let's see it keep going. I'm going to go change the title name right now. Y'all think I'm fucking playing out here. Yep, 1610. Let's start printing. Let's start printing. Let's go put Mara for the #1 name. Mara. Put a space there. Think I'm playing around. Toe to toe with any trader out there. That's the confidence level I'm on today. 1612s. There's an update of the title name. Now, as this keeps running up closer, now that I'm on a 15-minute, we said 1625s is what we wanted, but this 1619, just the body of these candles right here, is going to be somewhere that I get a fill. Now, I can also choose to trim a little bit in the middle of that, so maybe like 1615. We'll try that. There's 1613s. Let's see if we can take out these 14s real quick. And there's 15s. Let's go take a piece off right there. Hop! Ring the register. Fill number 2. Right in the back pocket. Go ahead. Go ahead. Think we're messing around today. Good size off 11s. We got 34 lots off 11s. Even if it trades back in down to 1605, 16 flat, we like this setup that we have going here. And I am starving too. I am starving. Sixteen 15s. Come on, let's see some push. Let's see a push. Only 3 lots on 15s. 5 lots on 15s. What is it, Ripley? What? There's 16s right there. Let's go take another piece off here right in front of these 19s that we wanted to take. There's another fill. Ringing the register. Let's go see where our fills came in at here. We got a 16, 17, 28. We got a 16, 13 half, and we got a 1609. Those are the 3 fills. We're going to go right on the ask, right at that 19 level. We're on the ask right off 19s. If this pulls back into 1603, 16 flat to 1605, we're going to reload. Sixteen, 16. Are we going to get this 19 fill? And right after 19's fill, we're going to be right there at 1625s. Actually getting ready to put the order in right now. It's alright. It doesn't need to get there yet. As long as it gets there at some point. Kind of a washout top candle. We still got 9 minutes left, so I'm expecting it to actually trade down, leave a little wick, just like it just did right there. We have great support into 1605. That can hold this trade up. Hey, puppy, what is it? Come here. Come here. You're okay. Come here. Alright, fine. There's 1604s. We said that we could reload, but with that washout top right there. Yeah, you're okay. Good boy. Yeah, you're okay. Good dog. Yeah, you are a good dog. Yeah, we're gonna have fun today. We're gonna go to the lake. Yeah, we're gonna go to the lake. Like I said, there should be good buyers off that 1605. I know we're only at 1607, but that's a good start. As long as it shows me that wick of buying pressure right there, that's all I need to see. 1609. So had I reloaded that, that's where I said I would. Came right into it, and that was the wick low. I completely forgot I was in the other trade still. Let's see if we got stopped out of that or not. And we did not. So now that we rang some clean profit on this, TNGX. Let's go take off. Let's go take off a piece here. Let's just take off. Let's see if we can get a little bit higher price. See if we can take off this one lot at 15s, and then we're going to take off 50% and run clean profit there. Take out those 15s. We just need the bid that. Yep. 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 Ring the register. That's another dandy. Took a nice clean 20 cents. Go ahead. Y'all think I'm playing around? Y'all really think I'm playing around? That's hilarious. That is hysterical. We'll hold this 50% for the dream. Took a nice clean 20 cents right there. That's what we're talking about. Looking a little bit closer in though. The body of this candle is right there. Let's just go take off another 10%. TNGX. And we're going to go right on the ask at this wick high right here. Wick high. It's 26. I thought I seen it higher than that. But we can go take off some clean profit. And if it comes back in, we can play that 7 level and give it that same 10 penny stop. Mara still at 1608. That's fine. Coming right back in. Still got 50% of this position. Mara back in the 1604. If that gives up 16s, I mean, we've taken some good profit on it. Let's go look at what that candle looks like. There should be some good buyers here. We can think about a reload if we wanted to. My out's still gonna be that same level. Mara, buyers coming right back in. That's what I was talking about. There should be some good buying pressure off of that 16 level. Kind of a washout top candle though, but it's nice to see that wick of buying coming in there. You know, honestly, I'm just tempted to just get out of this trade. Let's get ready to exit. My plan was to exit right there anyways, which is why we took off such big size off that first one. Let's put the stop loss in at 698. We're not going to give a break of 7 here. 698, that loses us a buck. Okay, that's fine if it ends up doing so. And there's a stop out. So, I mean, take a nice green trade. Could have been better. Could have took off more off those 20s, but we'll take it. So now we can focus in on Mara and go from here. Looking at some of these top volume movers. Tilio, still has to truly break that 60 level before we really think about it. Take a look at rig. Nice descending channel if we marked it out. I'm gonna look over at one name though. Pags. Pags. Getting close to that trend line that we have marked. Right in that middle ground of strength. Has this little bit of support level here. Is it gonna be able to hold 10s though? And I'd say your shorts are sitting at 1026, 1025. Possible ascending channel where if this actually played out, top end is about a 50% move. Coming into the tail end of this candle, we do have a small wick of buying, 13 seconds left. Let's see if we can find any more. Uh, just sticking with this. The only thing we have left out for one of the title names is Mara. Only way, we could have stayed true to that same 90 stop. But I mean, this still has to be able to fight through that level. And we just had a nice 50% cut, took a clean 20 cents. And this is why. This is setting up the bear flag right here where you get that washout bottom. That'd be a quick drop down the 50s and you risk this halting to the downside. So if you had a gun to my head and said, hey, would you rather trade that or trade this? I'm going to trade this because this is giving a nice move. It's showing that the buyers are there in the middle of this green move. And this 1594, the 1590, acted as very good support right here. So candle number 2, we have 14 minutes left. Even if it pulls into 95s here, we want to see it start showing us that wick. And there's the wick we were talking about. So pretty good fills. Our 19 never got filled, but we did have a 17.5. And if 19 wants to fill, right after that, we're going to respect 1625. After 1625, we think that we can test up the wick high 1650s. That's what we're looking for here. So Mara is pretty much all we're looking at and holding above 16s for now. So showing those buyers coming in the middle of this green move after the buyers just came in on the middle of this green move. Probably a little confusing, I'm sure. But I mean, we've went over. These are all the top volume movers of a watch list of 364 or 34 tickers. We went over every one of these green moves, and the only one that made sense was Mara. The other one was Array, but we missed it. We talked about it right here when we set this channel, and when we came back to it, it was up here. And we said, if I wanted to try and scalp it, I maybe these previous highs, which it already just wicked down to. But I'd much rather have this entry down here at 22 flat. So the only two that made sense were Array and Mara. Those were the only two that made sense on this watch list. And of course, oil plays. Oil has been strong, uh, but catching a little bit of resistance. So I'm already long oil, so it's like, I mean, I don't need to do anything with oil. Let's just hold. I don't see any reason why looking at this move right here would indicate, oh yeah, you got to sell. No chance. If we were talking about the NASDAQ, I mean, I can reiterate this every single time. This is a trend change. When you don't fill that gap right there, see the wick, and then you take out the lows, that is a trend change. Would I want to hold tech or would I want to hold oil? That's To me, that's clear as day because you have a clear trend change. I'm not going to set a perfect line, but you put this bull flag and take out the highs and the downtrend. This is a trend change. So if we're looking at the last month, there's your trend change on oil. There's your trend change on the NASDAQ. So yeah, I'm not going to be going and day trading oil when I already am sitting long in oil. Uh, I mean, if you guys really want to, before I went on vacation, we talked about this NASDAQ short, and we sat there. We had this gap fill marked. We said, hey, this wicking down here near this 17s, not being able to fill this gap, gives that gap up. This is the day I left. I left Tuesday afternoon. I said, hey, it gaps up. If it fills this 17 flat, we're all for it. And we think that this can run. Now, bear with me. We think that this can potentially run up to 28. So the trends are changing, guys. You guys can get on board or not, but for all I know, maybe the Nasdaq starts pumping again. But off of that information that I just gave you, and you're getting close to a positive break on this Nasdaq short, I mean, I can't tell the future, guys. I'm just a single guy. Just a single guy. But with that information being said right there, the only other option that we seen on this watch list today was Mara. And when I looked at Mara, it was the worst possible time. It was right here. We were at 1609. I averaged in at 1606 was first fill. Then we got two more fills down the 16 flat. We respected 90s, which is the flat top, and we respected 81. Why do we respect 81? It's our last retracement. Oops, wrong tool. It was our last retracement. That's 702, 1580s. Now, not every time it works out like this, but this was the only thing that we seen that was a viable option. And if you guys want to see me trade, and I think it's the only viable option, I'm going to try it. And our out was going to be the low. I was willing to hold this against me, losing money the whole way down and get stopped out down here. And it worked out for me. I can only put so much due diligence into something. I know I'm probably rambling on to myself. There's probably not even anyone out there listening. But I've come to play. We're back from vacation. We ain't trading on a laptop no more. So let's see if we can go get this fill on Mara at 18 or 19s. And if we don't, 19, easy to mark that. Just the body candle highs got damn close. And then after that, we have our flat bottom break here at 25s. So we're respecting both of these levels right here. We'll just mark it from this wick right here. Those are our next two outs if it wants to push up higher. I can't explain it any other way. And something happened to my 21. I must have accidentally canceled it out. Showing you the buying pressure down into the middle of this green move. That is a great start. TGNX still trying to hold this 7 level, but I mean, it's giving you this bear flag where this is candle number 2. Maybe it pushes up just a little bit higher, but I'm expecting this to get rejected to the downside. That would be my look. We just got done playing the 7 level. We took a clean 20 cents and we got stopped out at 98s. Okay, we're sitting at 12s. We took most of the position green. That's the best we could do. That's the best we can do. Mara still sitting up here at these 1607s. 1608s, 8 minutes left, about halfway through this candle. Let's see if we can get a push up to those 19s. We're on the ask at 19s, and we're going to go right in front of those 25s right after. Oh, I'm sorry, puppy. You're okay. Yeah, you're okay. And by all means, if anybody has a ticker they want me to look at, I will gladly switch to something else and look at it. But a couple watchers that we are looking at is Disney. Disney reports after hours. I said I don't know when this knife is going to stop on the day, but I'm expecting some type of rally. Whether this is the rally that we just witnessed right there, or whether we see it at the end of the day, but I'm expecting some type of rally to the upside going into this earnings report. I expect a lot more information on the ESPN Bet platform that was made with Penn. So Penn was another option that we were thinking about today, but with this candle coming in, it just discredits everything. I don't want to take that because I risk this being a descending channel like this. You guys see how it sets up right there? You know, maybe if it trades sideways long enough, we can take the trade over here. But I want to buy this at the best possible price I can, which to me is the middle 25s. And why do I say middle 25s? Is because we can try it in around here. And if I'm wrong and it trades down to this gap up, we can buy the gap and put a stop loss underneath 24s. That is the plan that I'm going to be executing on this. So if you see Penn down here in these middle 25s tomorrow, you best believe I'm a buyer. And if it goes even lower, you best believe I'm a buyer right here as well. Where my out is going to be 24s. TGNX back down to this 7 flat area. Array, giving a nice look actually. Kind of a bull flag type of look. You got the wick of buying pressure into that 21. Let's go back to that Mara. Mara right back into these 16s. Still have a little bit of time left, 5 minutes, 30 seconds. As long as this price can stay in the middle of this green move, we think that we can get some further movement to the upside. I mean, I don't have any more information to give out. If somebody wants me to look at something, I'll take a look at it. My bad, I'm looking at something. While we're on the topic though, with this not moving around anywhere, I did look through this Doc's earnings report, and when this all settles in and everything calms down, when everything calms down and this strength starts to give a little bit of churn back up above that negative 100, I will be a buyer of Docs. I believe in this company long term. I didn't think there was anything wrong with the earnings report. And at the end of the day, they're a high margin company with no debt. You know, if I'm lucky, it'll break down this low before that strength starts turning up, where maybe I can get this, you know, if this is some sort of descending channel right here, you know, if I got this down near 17, I'll be thinking nothing but long term with that type of setup. But I didn't think there was too much wrong with the earnings report. I was very shocked to see it down 23%. So that is, and then MF, we were looking at MF. This was one of the names we were trading on the vacation. We had some good trades here, and we were playing a 250 level on this day. We were rinse and repeat in 250 over and over again. Came into that 250, we were playing it. We were playing these levels down here, and just kept on trying it. And we had some good outs. And at the end of the day, we didn't want to hold it into the close. And that was one of the vacation names. That was one of the better names. But uh, is it going to be able to set up the channel? Today is the day we find out if it sets up the channel, in my opinion, where kind of a gap up through that. And why do I set that uptrend like this? Is because this gaps up above it, tries to hold, reject. Maybe a rejection there. Not a clean channel by any means, but I mean, if I set it through the top, that just looks sloppy. So actually what it might be is it was trying to hold the top end right there. And so making this a parallel channel, maybe something like that, but it doesn't look good at all. So I mean, we're not trading it. We're not going to say, oh yeah, that's a dandy of a trend line, we're going to play it. Nope, no chance. I do think that there was a trend line name that I mentioned. Which one was I talking about? I was talking about something. TNGX catching a bid. Had I stayed true to that 690 stop, I would probably be punching out of the entire position on this candle. Just my opinion. I just don't think it looks very good. I could be wrong though. Looking back at Mara, still holding that 16. We have 2 minutes left. Holding a green candle. The only thing that's scary about this is when this washout top happens, a lot of times I use this volume. So this was the increased volume on this candle. On this washout top, I would like to see it be a green candle that exceeds that volume right there. So that washout top is a little bit scary. I will probably give this to 1588. That's below the body of the candle. That's below the flat top. And at 1588, we've already rang the register for some clean profit. It won't be as bad of a loss. But I still think that this is the play I want to hold. What was another that? Tilio. Where's Tilio? Tilio, where was it? I don't think that was the trend line name. Which one was the trend line name? Trying to just find that trend line name. I can't find it though. I'll find it. Have some faith in me. I'll find that trend line name. If you're looking for a trend line name, I got you. It's in one of these tickers. I got 634 of them to go over. Which one was the trend line name? I don't think it was this one, but I'm going to click it. No, it wasn't this one. Let's go back. 30 seconds left. We're right in the middle of this green candle. Potentially to a point where we might have to cut this one. But 20 seconds left, that's all I needed to see right there. Now if it closes like this with a little wick of buying, that's all I need to see. Just a little wick. There's even more of a wick right into the end of it. Now that wick low could be an out, but I'm going to stay true to that 1588. We'll lose a little bit more for the help that this could go up. And I do got to get ready. Oh boy. All that talk. I gotta go cancel my 19 order. So canceling the 19 order, holding up for right now, so that's good. For now, we have a long 15 minutes on this wait right here. A long 15-minute wait here. Our 3 outs were, we didn't take too much off. We thought this was going to be a nice slow churn to the upside. Still can be. Still can be. Let's reclaim 16s here. God, I'm getting pissed. I can't find that. Which one was it? Where was it? Nice and easy. We can do this. I'm gonna have to look through the end of my live stream and find it. Oh my, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank right now. Pags, found it. Found it. There's that trend line. If I was gonna play a trend line this week, it would be Pags. Why would it be Pags? Because you have the top end of the channel that meets in pretty good with it. Uh, but also playing around this middle ground in strength, even though we just went negative on strength, all it would take is for this to start catching a bid and turn up, and you could easily, this would actually end up being your neckline break. So playing that trend line, give it a deeper stop, if you wanted to, below these lows. I know that would be probably 40 cents of risk. Might be a lot of risk, but top end of this channel up at 15. If I was going to play a trend line, that would be the name that I would go with probably. And I think I will be. So we'll find out tomorrow on the live stream if we're going to be playing that. Another name that I think should be on watch is End Phase. I'm thinking long with this name. If you want my honest opinion, I would be playing a support level though, not a trend line, because I would say your trend line is already gapped through from the earnings report, which could be a bear catalyst for further movement to the upside or downside, I meant. But I like this name long term, and in the 120s is I would be all for it. But if it came down to like these previous highs, that's 117.5. I'd say that would be also what we're looking for. $15.98. Let's reclaim 16s. We still think that this can give us a move up. Oops, sorry, puppy. When I'm done with this Mara trade, though, if it gives me that fill up to 19s, that's where I'm going to end the live stream. If I get stopped out, that's also where I'm going to end the live stream. I got to go get some food in me for the back half. I do see there is one other person out there watching. I appreciate you tuning in. It means a lot. So if you got anything that you want me to take a look at, by all means. And there's the red engulfing candle down the 93s. For the live stream to stay alive, we got to hold these 90s. As soon as we drop down below these 90s, we are going to be out, and that is going to be the live stream for the day. And it looks like it is potentially going to stop us out here. Even at the current price that's at right now, 15.93, this is still a green trade. Those fills we had up here at the above 16, we've already rinsed those out for profit. There's 30 lots on 90 here that just gave out. We'll give it these 89s. We'll give it just a little bit of time. There's that wick low right there. We'll give it to 88 or 87s. I just don't want this to wick out and then catch a bid to the upside and reclaim. But at the end of the day, you always got to have an out at some point. It's trying to hold these 90s. We have 8 minutes left on this candle. It's gonna have to fight through that wick low right there at 94s. Oh, we're giving it a little bit of chance. We gave it a chance over here. We think that we can give it a chance. You know, if I wanted to play safe, I'd just go 85s. So if I see 85s, more than likely I'm going to be out. And there's that wick. So we do have a little bit of buying pressure off of these 90s. And just to mark it a little bit better, there's 1590 off of that flat top. Nice test. Now if I can reclaim 16s, which that's good buying pressure right there. So I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better now to know that those buyers are trying to buy it up still. That's all I need to see. TGNX or TNGX still holding that 7 range. I do gotta check out one ticker though. No, wrong ticker. It's Bros. Dutch Bros. Nice day on Dutch Bros. One of my buddies made a ton of money on that today. Back tomorrow. Still trying to hold these. Still trying to hold. So 96. Still that wick of buying pressure right there. The longer it can hold these 90s, the better. Five minutes left. Uh-oh. Right in the 90s, in the back tail of this candle. Tapped into those 80s briefly. 26 lots on 89s. 88s. It's got to get back into those 90s. There's 87s, and the stop's going to go in at 85s. And that gives us a loss of 12 beans. 12 beans is what we lose on that. 12 bones. It looks like we are going to get stopped out here. Back half of the candle, full red engulfing candle below that 93. It just doesn't look like it's going to have a chance. There's 86. Stop is still holding briefly. There's 85s. So that should have gave us a stop out right there. And it did. It stopped out potentially at the wick low. Potentially. That's all we got for the day, guys. Sorry I couldn't be better. Potentially the wick low there. But the candle getting bigger. At some point in time, you got to have an out. So that's going to call it for the live stream. I appreciate who's ever out there watching. I wish I could have put on a better show for you. But I was a little worried with that washout top. Could have got more off there. A couple pennies off of that 19. Could have made it a green trade, but I think it was slightly red. So I will be back live streaming tomorrow. I appreciate you tuning in, and we will catch you later.